How many cross-stitch projects should I take with me on my vacation? I've seen that question asked a lot lately, and I thought that I would film a quick video showing what I took on our one-week trip to the coast. I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and let's recreate the packing I did for our trip. So I pack depending on who I'm going to be with and how much room we have to pack things. My mom and I went to the coast back in November. I was only there 3 or 4 days, and we packed like we were headed off on an African safari. We both had full-size sewing machines, project bags, tubs of fabric. It was way more than we needed, way more than we knew we would have a chance to use, but because we were doing a little 2-person sewing retreat, we brought everything we thought we might want. This trip was a week with my husband and children at my parents' condo that they were graciously letting us use for the week because they couldn't be there, and I didn't expect much sewing time, but you never quite know what's going to happen, so I planned accordingly. This project bag of mine I made out of a dollar store flour sack towel, just folded in half and lined with a zipper. It is a good size to tuck into a larger bag, and it will hold a surprising lot. So I knew that I wanted to bring Caledonian Sky. That was the first thing that went in. And then I thought I might want to work on the Dimensions Kit Beach Babies. I've already got it in this, I don't know what you would call this. They're in the Dollar Tree office supply section. It is also sized to fit in the bag. I broke disassembled, let's not say I broke it. I disassembled my 11-inch Q-snap, which also fits in there. And I knew I wanted to bring Plague Nurse because that is my focus project right now. And it was folded at the time and went in there. So, Acceptance, a Bendy Stitchy sampler, has been living in this bag that I'm using to keep my smalls in, and has one of the colors I need for Plague Nurse. So that was my start of my packing. It all fits in there with plenty of room to spare and easy to zip the bag. So I also, just because I could, stuck in the Dimensions Gold Collection Kit Morning Lake and Busilla Mad Bluebird. By all means, add an extra set of needles. You may or may not need them, but if something happens and a needle breaks or gets lost, you will be glad you have them. So that is something like 5 or 6 projects in a relatively small bag that I can tuck in with everything else we have packed. Won't inconvenience the family, won't get in the way of anything else. If I have time to stitch, it's there. If we are busy having fun as a family, which is what we wound up doing, it's there and it's not hurting anything. Now, on a normal trip, if the pool was open, I would have been down there an hour a day, being an adult present so that my boys could swim. Legally, they are required to have me there. They don't actually need me there. So on our last trip, I sewed a lot. This trip I sewed a little bit in our room. I worked on Caledonian Sky a couple of times. Didn't turn out that I needed the cross stitching, but that is fine. I wasn't going on the trip to stitch. I wanted to have stitching if the opportunity presented itself. And I did have another smaller project bag, also flour sack towel, and I tucked in a pair of socks and a shawl that I am knitting. So all of my projects took that much space. Considering we had the back of the pickup truck loaded down with groceries and clothes and everything else, this was minimal. It didn't get in the way. I'm glad I had it. If I'd been presented with some unexpected stitching time, I have more here than I could possibly ever work on. But if that stitching time did happen, I wanted to have options so I could pick what sounded good at the moment. Let me know, do you take your stitching with you when you travel? How much do you bring? And Do you go with just enough, or like I did here, do you go with way too much? I'm Michelle with Michelle's Romantic Tangle. Thank you for watching. I will be back with you with more videos very soon.